Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 175 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on August 22nd, 2023. How are all you folks doing? Yeah, seems like I was just speaking with you. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you have all had some time to go shooting recently. Get some time in if you can. If you haven't been able to, try to work it in when you can. It's important, I think, just for some stress relief at the very least. A little bit of a change in format might be coming to the podcast. I need your opinions on this. I want to start bringing guests back on. I want to get back to the roots a little bit, of how I started the podcast. I think that was really fun, at least once in a while. I'm still going to give you technical discussions about silencers and stuff, but also I want to bring some people on to speak about more than just silencers, right? And more gun industry stuff and things like that. And I think doing it with people, just face to face would be awesome. We might do different types of episodes and things like that. We'll mix it up. But I am seriously exploring that now. And I think I've received some feedback that indicated a lot of folks are thinking that too. So it could be cool, So who's on your most wanted guest list, right? Comment on the social posts with your desired guests. Let me know, okay? It'd be cool. We can start forming a list and work through them. I don't think anyone's off limits. I think it'd be super cool. Why not have anyone on, I think. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. So on today's episode, there is actually a packed agenda. A lot of stuff. A lot of really important things to speak about. First up, a relatively short technical talk on the latest published PEW Lab white paper, the Aero Precision Lahar-30L on the MK18. I'm going to hit the high points of that article for you folks. Then I'll give you a preview of another white paper that the lab is releasing this week. I know it's soon, but it's happening. It is the CAT ODB coming in hot. That's right. And finally, I want to really quickly discuss the answer to last week's lab quiz. That's right. Remember, they posted a quiz last week. I think they're going to do one once per week. I know they posted one today on the day I'm recording this, but we'll talk about the one last week. I think it'll be cool. It'll be a good segment. Okay, on with the show. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Legion Athletics. That's right. Nothing you do, exercise, sports, anything is worth doing without consistency. You have to do it all the time if you want to be good at it. And supplements from Legion Athletics can help. Whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout. Do they have everything you need? No, probably not. But they have a lot of it, all right? Visit legionathletics.com. There's a link in the show notes. Code word PEWScience to save 20% off your first order. And keep using the code for double loyalty points. You'll end up getting a net 10% off everything going forward with points using that code. Get strong. It's important. All right, guys. This podcast is also sponsored by Top Gun Range Houston. If you're in the Houston area, even if you're just visiting, they're worth checking out. In addition to have a 15-lane indoor range, they have the largest firearm rental fleet in the whole state of Texas. It's crazy, man. You can rent pistols and rifles and shotguns and machine guns. You can check out their firearm rental inventory on their website at topgunrange.com, and you can also find them on Instagram at Top Gun Range. So go bother them. Go check them out. Our next sponsor is High-End Armament Technology. That's right, a dealer of exactly that, high-end arms and accessories. They have significant longevity in the machine gun game, the NFA game, significant expertise in the procurement and operation of night vision and thermal optics and infrared sighting systems, lasers, green lasers, infrared lasers, all kinds of lasers. Check them out at highendarms.com. On Instagram at High-End Arms, and even have a Facebook page, which is also, you guessed it, High-End Arms. Okay, I hope they can help you folks out if you need it. All right, they are really good at procuring very rare things. Okay? This episode is also sponsored by Silencer Shop. You can use their kiosk, do your fingerprints and photos electronically, and in turn, you'll cut down on errors. You'll simplify your silencer purchasing process. You'll get a money-back guarantee. It's pretty good. You don't pay any transfer fee. You don't get any paperwork errors. You just get your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. Finally, this podcast is brought to you by the PEWScience Laboratory. That's right. I'm the technical director of the lab, and in the interest of public education, the lab sponsors this podcast and runs a public research effort. That effort continues to push the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Okay? Anytime, day or night, you can visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It's the simplest and most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms based on true human inner ear response from the entire gunshot, from before the combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone out of the weapon system and all the mechanical noise is gone too. The entire signature. Okay? The Pew Science Lab is the home of the public silencer sound standard. There are 7 sections, and it contains the most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis in the world. And it's all available to the public. Check it out at pewscience.com, okay? And you can support this podcast as well. You can support the public lab activities, all the public testing that's done by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. There's even a donate feature on the review page there and the podcast page. Every little bit helps. And you know what? Something that's free doesn't cost you anything. You give this podcast a good 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify or things like that. You let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome, and we can normalize the use of suppressed small arms for the general populace in hopes that someday they'll be unregulated and there'll be a silencer in every home. I have a dream. Okay, 3 topics for you today. Topic 1, latest public laboratory white paper, Sound Signature Review 6119. The Aero Precision Lahar-30L on the 5.56 MK18 SBR. It's going to be a short tech brief for you here. I'll go into that briefly. We'll get these discussions streamlined, but I think it'll still be valuable. Okay, we'll talk about that. Topic 2, the PEW Lab is releasing another white paper this week. That's right. The data has passed review, and it's the CAT ODB, specifically the CAT ODB A1718. That's right. It's the Inconel version of the silencer. The CAT ODB, it's a 7.62 millimeter silencer. We're going to do Mark 18 data tomorrow, then more soon-ish. Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, we got ourselves a 30 caliber battle, boys. It's heating up. You don't even know. Topic 3. Did you folks get last week's PEW Lab quiz correct? A lot of folks did. So we're gonna go over the answer in this hopefully fun new segment. I don't want it to be a chore, but I do want to have fun with it, and I think all you will. Okay. All right. Let's move into topic 1 at a time of 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Oh, that's good time. Good time. Okay. Perfect. Topic 1, latest public laboratory white paper at pewscience.com. That's the Sound Signature Review 6119. That is the Aero Precision Lahar-30L on the 5.56 MK18 SBR. This is a short tech brief, okay? So we're gonna streamline this, but we're still gonna do it justice. Now, you saw this silencer already, right? Yeah, you saw it on Bolt Action 308. Right? That's what you saw first published. And when we did that, folks were like, what? Aero made a silencer that hangs with the first gen Thunder Beast Ultra 9 on 308? What? That is crazy. Right? It's wild. It's wild when you see something like that. I mean, I thought it was wild. Neck and neck, those two silencers on the bolt gun. Yeah, just, not in every single performance aspect, but with gross signature suppression performance, they certainly were. Isn't that cool? And Aero being a budget option with an Inconel blast baffle, that, for me, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was like, really? I was like, what an interesting offering. So the Lahar line went through Pew Science lab testing, and they hit the 5.56 Mark 18, and that's what this tech brief is about. The Mark 18 data in Article 6119 in the public standard, okay? Always note, for those of you just tuning in, I know there are a lot of new listeners. First of all, welcome. I appreciate you being here. I know a lot of you are new, and you might not know The public articles are available. The public articles are available from the lab always at pewscience.com. Okay, if you're a member who supports that public research effort, and basically you support that to keep public articles like those coming along with this podcast, you get bonus content. And that is the version of the article I'm pulling up right now in front of me. Okay, you can follow along with a free one if you like to. It's no problem. I'm just telling you, I'm looking at the full version that's accessible to the member supporters of the public effort. Okay, so bottom line up front, guys, 37.6 composite suppression rating. Okay, just think about it. Boy, howdy, man. If you were going to go only off of this metric, and that overall metric was the only thing you cared about, full stop, that would be an interesting place to be, right? It's kind of wild. At first, evaluating a silencer that's an L version on a 556 SBR is kind of weird, right? It doesn't fit in with what you would typically run on a rifle like that, right? But as it's 7.6 inches with the mount, it's not too far off of some other silencers. So you're, in the class, you're kind of thinking, it's good to understand that. You need to look at that. So, and guys, look, when you pull up this article, you can look at the signature data easily here. And you've heard me speak about these silencer fingerprints over the past couple of years in every single technical discussion for every single white paper, right? I've done it every week, or at least after every paper release. And so I'm going to cut to the chase here, guys. I'm going to scroll down all the way to figure 1. And figure 1 is pressure, right? Figure 1A and figure 1B. You know what we do here at Pew Science with a fingerprint. And what do you see when you see these plots? Blowdown takes longer. The bolt moves faster. Gas momentum propagation takes longer. Impulse accumulation rate is slower. And when I'm saying faster and slower and I'm talking about the comparison of this full-size Lahar-30L to the mid-size Lahar-30. What do you do when you go to the 30L? You get more back pressure. You get a quieter silencer. Your first round pop gets better. Done. Okay? Why beat it to death? You can read the article and see that, right? It's shorter than a Surefire SOCOM 762 RC2. It beats the Surefire in gross 556 suppression, but its flow rate's lower by a lot, so higher back pressure than the Surefire. There's trade-offs, guys. There's trade-offs. The alpha metric is the same on every Lahar silencer, right? But the omega just scales up as you get longer. Yeah. What does that mean? Well, it means the back pressure of the Lahar series scales up as you lengthen the silencers and directly correlates to omega, right? It's the same thing you get when you look at modular silencers from Rugged across their whole line, or different iterations of the Dead Air Sandman series, the Sandmen, or take Otter Creek. If you go Otter Creek Labs Polonium K to Polonium, same thing. Same blast chamber geometry, same dimensions, same early time gas propagation and shock reflections, okay? Same. Add baffles to a simple stack, increases back pressure, okay? Let me say that again in a different way. If you have identical proximal geometry and you just scale traditional baffles, you scale overall back pressure directly with omega, full stop. Okay, because the gas momentum transfer potential out of the end of the silencer just scales with the flow restriction grossly because your shock reflections are constant in the beginning. Okay, that's the nature of the simplified omega metric parameter. Now, for those of you curious about that, now, in the review coming this week, you will see what happens when you adjust alpha independently. What happens when you change the front part of the proximal end, the entrance of the silencer? What happens when you just change that independently in a design? Okay, I'm here to tell you that's a highly advanced design element. It's a different sport. just some foreshadowing for you. But okay, so back to the Aero silencer. But you need to be thinking along these lines because it's going to become extremely important as we go forward. There's a lot of stuff going on in the industry right now, and it's all coming together. And to have that vernacular will be powerful for you as a consumer. Okay, to understand it. Now, when you look at how this performs overall, this Aero Precision Lahar-30L on a 556 SBR, you can see that you're not getting any favors in the back pressure department, right? You're just not. The silencer's large. It's quiet at the muzzle. The shooter's ear suppression rating, the hazard to the operator, is basically the same holistically as with the mid-size version of the silencer, okay? If you want a really easy way to check that out, if you scroll all the way down to figure 6 in the article, okay? If you look at figure 6 in the article, you can see that. If you scroll to the bottom of the chart, the Lahar-30L is at the bottom there. Okay, yeah, 37.3 at the muzzle, mil standard, mic location, free field, okay? Lahar-30, 27.3 at the muzzle, mil standard, free field, 10. Exactly 10-point difference. 10 points, dude. That's a suppression rating category difference. And look at the difference in shooter's ear damage risk potential. 24 and 24.2. So you have the same hearing damage risk as the weapon operator on the same weapon with these two different silencers, while one of the silencers has a category less severe muzzle signature. Guys, what should you immediately know when you see that? It's back pressure town USA, population U with the Lahar-30L, dude. You have to tune the rifle for this silencer if you want optimal hazard reduction for the shooter. Full stop, right? That's what this data shows, right? It's a pretty easy takeaway. This review is very simple. The silencer is simple, and the data is simple, and the conclusions are simple. Okay? It's easy. It's easy to understand this now for everybody here. It's a must to tune for this thing if you're going to use it on an AR. Can the shooter's ear hazard be reduced with tuning? Of course it can. Look at the Maxim DSX Surge review in the public data set, guys. It's there. Sure, you can. You look at the Maxim DSX in this chart. You're down pretty hazardous at the shooter's ear with a very high muzzle suppression rating. But then look at the Surge review. I don't remember what it climbs to. Can I do that? 1 second. Just to make the point really quick, guys. Review 6111. I followed the links. Okay, so the ear rating hops up 10 points from 22 to 32 with the DSX when you tune the Mark 18, basically, but with an adjustable gas block with the same buffer. That's I know that the DSX Surge is not an adjustable gas block, but go back in time, find the podcast episode where I talk about it. Look at the review. Look at that old Maxim Defense white paper, and you'll see. Okay, so you can tune it. You can do things like that. But remember, miracles are not possible. So tread carefully with what you think tuning is going to do, because just because you can reduce that shooter's ear hazard with tuning does not necessarily mean other hazards don't remain, and your mileage may vary as weapons vary. Okay, just keep that in mind. So, all in all, guys, Aero came out swinging. I think I've said that before. Aero came out swinging in the first entry to the commercial market. The silencers look high quality. They feel high quality. They seem to be made well. They're very economical. The performance is there in a gross fashion, I think, for a lot of different users. The materials and the construction they're using are, they're pretty durable. And in certain applications, they hang with some of the big boys. They really do hang. Excuse me. I mean, is the Aero Precision Lahar series super advanced? No, it's not. Are they, in my opinion, great products? You know what? To give a personal opinion, yeah. I mean, I think for a conventional design like this, for the market they're shooting for, I think they did a hell of a job. I mean, they're heavy, they're conventional. Back pressure's not stellar. But guys, I mean, they're performing where they need to for a lot of users, I think. That's my opinion. Like if I was a commentator and this was a sport, that's my color commentary for this, And I think one of the biggest takeaways for end users and for everyone, even if you never use the Lahar series, I think one thing to take away from this, just for the pedigree as a whole, to understand the context here, is the length of these silencers. The L version is 7.6 inches long with the mount. Okay, that means that their L version is like some so-called S silencers that I've seen on the market, right? I think that we've all seen. And then their 30 cal, their midsize, is kind of like some K silencers I've seen. And if you look at their K model, it's kind of like some micro silencers that we've seen. We talked about this, I think, in the very beginning when we first presented the Lahar analysis on this podcast. So, because I think we when we first talked about the Lahar white papers, we did that. We made that point. So yeah, I think it's important to look at the length in context. Okay, so I think the Pew Science members, please use the data visualization tool in the member ranking section at the bottom of that page. It has a length and weight slider. Okay, so it's fun to look at data in context with that tool. I think it would behoove you sometimes to look at that. Okay, so for length, specifically in this case for length, it's one that you might want to look at. And for that matter, for weight, you start filtering by weight. These might drop off. It depends what weight you're looking for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Big thanks to Aero Precision for trusting the PEW Lab to perform this testing and analysis. That's a big step for a company to do. Come to an independent lab. I think any company that comes to an independent lab for truly independent validation of their product performance, I think that's a big deal. And kudos to them for that in general. And from the PEW Lab, big honor to serve a client like Aero Precision, obviously. Okay, so I think that's great. Okay, so onward. All right, I think big ups, Aero. Big ups. Okay, we'll move into topic 2 at a time of 23 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, this is an interesting one. The PEW Lab is releasing another white paper this week. We just released one last week, and this came here. The data past review. I reviewed it. It's looking quality for publication. The CAT ODB A1718, the CAT ODB 7.62 millimeter silencer. Okay, Mark 18 data tomorrow for not I'm in the current time, you in the future. For your tomorrow, you will have this data. For your current time, in which you're listening to this episode for the first time, you will not have data. Okay, so you'll have to wait until Thursday. Okay, but so that'll be the Mark 18, and then we're going to do more after that. Yeah, we're going to do more after that. Buckle up. We got ourselves a 30 caliber battle, boys. We got ourselves a war 30 caliber battle. No, heck, we actually, that I'm joking, but I'm kind of not, because we might actually have a bigger battle than that with this white paper, and you'll see on Thursday why. Again, I seldom announce white papers before they're published. This is a lab client-driven activity, so I am letting you know that the publication is coming. Okay, that's that is the directive. Okay, so I did not think that we were going to get to this as early as we are, but we are. So you'll have it tomorrow, and man, a humdinger. I tell you what, I don't even know what I can say until you see it, because you're going to need context. You're going to need context here. This is one of those articles. It's one of those papers that you're really going to need to examine. This is a 30 caliber silencer. Okay, a 30 caliber silencer with different technology from an R&D group. Okay, I'm telling you guys, they design things that are unconventional. And like I told you folks a couple of episodes back, the U.S. consumer is getting this. I was trying to illustrate the importance of that, and I think a lot of you understand. Some folks I've just been observing, and I've seen that some folks have gotten upset. Some folks have gotten upset on social media. And from my perspective, I've completely stayed out of the whole thing. Okay, I'm the lab technical director. I use this podcast to get info out to all you folks. When there are technical things to explain in layman's terms, I do it here. Okay, I'm going to continue to do that because the feedback of me doing that is positive. I have fun doing it. I think it's cool. Okay, now, some folks, because I see this stuff, some folks have talked about hype. And again, when I've been able, I've to have time to go look, I've seen stuff on social media. Yeah, there's definitely some hype, but also, guys, from what I'm seeing, there's not nearly as much hype as I've seen from a lot of other silencer launches. So I'm not, I don't know, maybe I'm like just not looking in the right places. For me, it's interesting to watch this from the outside. It's certainly been entertaining for us in the lab. Look, we're just happy to be here, happy to get to be involved in testing some of this stuff. I'm telling you guys, it looks like CAT came to play, and they're doing it with the 30 caliber silencer first. This isn't even their 5.56 silencer yet. Okay, I just want you to have some context here to understand, guys. 762 out of the gate, hub back end, just the hub interface, just like the Aero Precision Lahar-30L that we just talked about. Hub back end, and I'm going to use words right now that might upset you. I think it's coming for people's lunch money. And the reason I'm using that terminology is because that's what I've seen the kids use online. They've been saying that. Some of the meme pages say it. I see it, and I'm like, you know what? I think that is probably a term that holds true in this case. I think they're coming for some lunch money. Now, this silencer is releasing in 2 versions. The freaking specs are already public on their website. You can go read those. One is Inconel and one is titanium. Now, the titanium version, the core version, like the core of it, like without the mount, it's only 8.6 ounces. Okay? Dude, this is nuts. Okay? And then the Inconel version, dude, it's real. And I'm telling you, this is probably, it's got to be, right? This is probably the first time in recent memory we get a full Inconel silencer of this type. Right? Of this type of silencer that's coming. I think this is the first time in recent memory we've had a full Inconel one, right? We've had some Inconel silencers, but not like this. So I'm a little bit excited to see what people think about it. Personally, that's my. It's like, this is interesting because I don't know that people are. This isn't something you usually have as an option, like in this way. So I'm racking my brain. I don't know. Anyway, stay up, guys. This is going to be nuts. Remember, this is something to keep in mind. I think I've mentioned this a couple times in other talks. The suppression rating is one thing, right? You know that, right? So the suppression rating is only one metric. One. Everyone tells you that, right? Like, I tell you that. People who don't like Pew Science lab data tell you that. The suppression rating is only one metric. And that's most definitely true. It's most definitely true. And that's been said by me and known by all for a very long time, really, right? For a very long time. Okay? The individual metrics and the context of performance is really what is important for many people. And I mean, I think important for me, important for people who use silencers, important for the state of the art, the state of practice, I think, yeah. And so, I don't know. I guess here's one way to say it. Here's something, okay, I'll say it this way. Here's something that you all know. And we all saw this together. All of us. Well, I witnessed this just with you simultaneously. When we saw stuff earlier this year from some other companies, we didn't know how long we were going to have to wait to get something like this. I think that was a pervasive thought. It was on my team. It was the consumers I've spoken to were like, I wonder, after we saw stuff earlier this year from some other companies, we were like, cool. How long before someone else tries this in a different way? Or how long before we see a product that does this in a different way? Is that even possible? What are we going to have to do? Are we always going to have to tune a gun? What do we have to do anymore? Like, what are the options? Do we always have to use XYZ tech? And I think the answer, and the only reason I can answer that question now, and the only reason I think that you are going to be able to answer that question now is because of what the paper that's about to be published. And the answer is, apparently, we didn't have to wait that long. So like I said, the lab put together all the data package. I spent a while reviewing it and compiling it. The white paper is going live tomorrow, Thursday. That's going to be the 24th of August. Buckle up. I don't even know where to go from here, and because guys, this isn't even their 556 silencer. So this is CAT's first commercial launch, and it's 762. You will have 556 data tomorrow for this 30 caliber silencer. And there is 300 blackout subsonic data, and there is 762 NATO supersonic data, and you're going to get all of that data too. But first, you're going to get 556, and as a matter of fact, as the public requested from the Pew Science Lab and CAT, it's on the MK18 tomorrow per request. And so it can be put in context with the public pedigree, because you do understand that the CAT organization is testing to protocols that are outside of the public silencer sound standard, right? So the only reason, like this MK18 data with the ODB, this is just a public white paper for you, showing it. I'm really trying to make you guys understand. Like, you really need to understand. This is game time, and this is what happens when a lab operates like this. It can produce deliverables publicly. And that's what you wanted. Here we are. They did it. Okay, so I certainly hope the industry is paying attention, because honestly, for me, I saw some comments from before. People are, like, oh, Jay's going to talk. No, I give equal time to all lab testing. And for me personally, as the technical director of this lab and the public-facing guy representing it and explaining the data to you, I think what is about to happen is throwing a grenade into a room and walking away. And physics can't be argued with is the reason, okay? And boy, howdy, does this white paper have some physics in it. And that's, I think that's the pay dirt here, okay? I'm telling you, just to wrap this up, guys, CAT is one of the most unique lab clients we have ever had. It's a good unique, I think. They are challenging to deal with. It pushes us, okay? I'll just say that. If you are not challenged, can you really grow? Age-old question, right? No, I'm kidding, but I'm half kidding. I'm kind of being serious, honestly. If you're not challenged, what? You're going to stay the same all the time? You're going to stay stagnant, or you're going to grow? All right, yeah. So speaking of challenges, topic 3 at a time of 36 minutes and 45 seconds. Topic 3. Did you folks get last week's PEW Lab quiz correct? Did you? 1 second. My throat. Did you get the quiz correct? A lot of folks did. A lot of folks really did. So let's go over the answer in this hopefully fun new segment. No. The lab folks put out this question. They asked the public. They put an Instagram poll. Question quiz panel. It's called the quiz panel. In the story there, the question was, what causes loss of accuracy with a silencer? And they gave 4 answer choices in the quiz. The choices were, okay, so again, the question, what causes loss of accuracy with a silencer? The choices were A, bad aim, B, bad alignment, C, baffle geometry, and D, 2 out of 3 of the above. Interesting, right? It's a little tricky. But guys, almost 6,500 people read that quiz. Most people who answered it got it right. Like most people that answered it got it right, which is really cool. So let's talk about the answer choices, and just real quick, we'll go through each one. Answer A was bad aim. That was the first choice. So bad aim can, of course, result in a lack of accuracy with a silencer, but it is not unique to just a silencer, guys. You do not need a silencer to have bad aim, do you? Okay. Therefore, this was a suboptimal answer choice. All right. This was meant to be a bad answer, but some people picked it. You guys are funny. I get it. It's fun. We're having fun. Okay. B. The second choice, B, was bad alignment. This one is definitely a yes. This is a good answer. You know that if your bullet passes too close to a baffle, or God forbid grazes a baffle or touches it or something, it's going to throw off the trajectory of the projectile, and oftentimes in a non-repeatable way. So your precision suffers, your accuracy suffers, everything's suffering. That's bad. So keep that in mind. Okay, so some of you picked that as the only answer. Okay, it's fine. That is a correct answer. Choice C was baffle geometry. So this is the trick one here. This is the trick one. This is the one that if you really know silencers, you're going to get it correct and you're going to win the quiz because you're going to have all the power, right? But if you get it wrong, it could cause you to go into a decision loop and you start panicking. And then, given how the quiz is laid out, it's like, oh no, right? So if so the answer, not to dramatize this, the answer is that yes, baffled geometry can also cause accuracy loss, and that's because some internal silencer geometry results in unbalanced flow gradients. That's right, and what that does is it influences the bullet trajectory before it leaves the silencer. That's right. So you have precursor flow, precursor shocks, and jetting occurring that are in fact in the silencer before the bullet, guys. Okay, and when the bullet enters the silencer, there are, in fact, rapidly expanding gases behind it. And they don't care about anything once they get in there. No, so there's a lot of stuff going on. Depends on the cartridge, depends on the silencer, depends on the round, depends on a lot of different stuff, the barrel length. But guess what? The end of the story is keep your designs in check, fam. Because answer C was also correct. So, choice D. 2 out of 3 of the above. So 2 out of 3 of the above is correct. B and C. Bravo and Charlie. There you go. That's the answer for the quiz. An argument could have been made for A to be included, but that would have disqualified B and C and D in this quiz. Like if you really thought that A was one of the answers, that would have meant that you also thought either B or C was not correct, was not one of the answers, which would have meant you were wrong. So if one of the if you were to pick the most correct, it would have been B and C, which meant the answer was D. Okay, you can't say A is correct and then have B or C be not correct. Okay. Right, guys? The answer is D. No, I'm giving you a hard time, but it's correct. The answer is Delta. So I hope this was fun, man. Good job to thousands of people who got it right. And you know what? To those of you who got it wrong, it's okay, dude. It's just it's literally just a game. And you guys are still awesome. And actually, one of the reasons why you guys are still awesome is because you guys still participated. And therefore, you actually are more confident than those who didn't. The people doing the quiz, they can go see who answered and who didn't. It's crazy, right? So you beat a lot of people. You beat a lot of people, even if you played and lost. You beat a lot of people because at least you played, right? At least you tried. I mean, I know participation trophies aren't necessarily the best thing in the world, but in this case, gosh, at least you tried. I hold that in high esteem. Okay, and you know what? We had a quiz today. I saw they posted a quiz today. I forget the actual question. It's actually it's pretty technical, but I think it might even be easier than this quiz. But it's cool. It's fun, and so I think somebody got it wrong. And they went and DM'd me, and they're like, "Oh, I got it wrong." I'm like, I asked them what answer they had picked, and the guy said, I picked this because I was thinking this, and I was like, dude, that's a great line of thinking, dude. What a great line of thinking. And then some people ask me, well, how come the answer is this? Why is it? And I told them, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, isn't that cool? So it doesn't matter if you get the answers wrong. It's just an Instagram quiz. There's no lives on the line here, guys. This is just a learning exercise, and I think it's fun. I see people do Instagram quizzes all the time, and I'm not saying that certain quizzes are better than others, but sometimes maybe we can learn something from the quizzes, and that's why I think they're doing them, and why I told them it was okay, and why I think it's really fun, and I think it's in the spirit of certainly this podcast and certainly the public Pew Science standard that you guys see, is education for the populace. Remember, we don't have to do any of this publicly, but we do. It helps. It's helping everybody. So let's keep doing it. We do it with these quizzes. We do it with the standard. We do it with everything, okay? All right. So administratively, guys, I'm catching up on welcome emails for you members. I'm behind. I have not forgotten you. I'll be caught up on the pro member emails. Those are going out too. You have not been forsaken. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for tomorrow, guys. Stay tuned. You're gonna get some data that may or may not be controversial. Who knows? It'll probably be controversial because every time a white paper gets released, there's bound to be controversy, such as life. Okay. So stay safe out there, guys. I will talk with you folks again soon. All right. Bye.